Week 17 of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few hitters I look to buy and trade for this week. The first guy, Sean Murphy of the Atlanta Braves. So Sean Murphy, the first 2 months of the season, he was on a tear and one of the best catchers in all Major League Baseball. And on the season, the numbers overall are still great. 17 home runs, 58 RBIs, 46 runs scored at 275 average, and a 374 on base. But the last month of the season, he's really had a downfall. 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. 9 runs scored, a 196 average, and a 308 on base. So right now, Murphy may be a little fatigued. He's in a slump, obviously. But he's in a great lineup with a lot of great hitters and probably the second best lineup in all the major leagues here for this Atlanta Brave team. So right now, while he's slumping and he really hasn't done much since June here, Sean Murphy, he's definitely a buy low candidate. This week, July 21st at the Brewers, 1 for 3 a run. July 22nd at the Brewers, 0 for 4. July 25th at the Red Sox, 1 for 4 rib. July 26th at the Red Sox, 0 for 2. And July 28th versus Milwaukee, 1 for 4 with a run. July 30th versus Milwaukee, 0 for 4. And August 1st, versus the Angels, 0 for 3. So right now, he's in a crazy bad slump, like I mentioned. Over the last week, he's hitting under 100 to Sean Murphy. And right now, like I said, well, he hasn't done anything. And the numbers overall for the season are great still. But his value's definitely dropped off, and it's a perfect time to buy him low. This week, the next hitter, Kyle Schwarber of the Philadelphia Phillies. So Kyle Schwarber, we know he's a big power guy, no doubt about it. But the batting average is way below where it usually is here for him. And he really hasn't done much over the last 2 weeks either. Not even power or RBIs as Schwarber. So right now, while he's in another slump and not showing anything, this is a perfect time to buy him low as well. On the season, 27 home runs, 65 RBIs, 62 runs scored, a 184 average, and a 325 on base. He's the typical power hitter, a lot of strikeouts, low batting average, still a lot of power, and a good on-base percentage. So pretty much it's a walk, strikeout, or a home run for Schwarber this season. And like I said, over the last 2 weeks, we haven't seen much out of him. 1 home run, 8 RBIs, 6 runs scored, a 132 average, and a 414 on base. So obviously that's not going to cut it right now for fantasy owners. But like I said, this guy could carry a fantasy team out of nowhere. And we saw it last season where he hit 46 home runs in the regular season, where some months he'll hit 2 or 3 homers and some months he could hit 12, 13 home runs. So the last few games for Schwarber, July 29th at the Pirates, 0 for 2 a rib. July 30th at the Pirates, 0 for 3 a run. July 31st at the Marlins, 0 for 3 a run. August 1st at the Marlins, in that one, 1 for 2. And August 2nd at the Marlins, 0 for 4. So he's struggling mightily, no doubt about it, right now here, Schwarber. But he's still a hitter, I think, that could go out there, turn things around. And like we said, the power's legit. You just got to get a little bit better here, Schwarber, and get back on track, and I think he can. So right now, while he's slumping the last 2 weeks, the month of the season, this is a perfect time to buy him low, in my opinion. The next hit is his teammate JT Realmuto of the Philadelphia Phillies. So Realmuto, he's been a real streak hitter over the last couple seasons here with this Philadelphia team, and now he's banged up with a hand injury where he's day-to-day and hopefully comes back sooner than later. On the season, 12 homers, 42 RBIs, 12 stolen bases, 44 runs scored, a 243 average, and a 308 on base. But the last couple weeks here, we haven't seen much out of Realmuto either. 1 home run, 5 RBIs, 4 runs scored, and 2 stolen bases in the time. So Realmuto, a few years ago when he was on this Miami Marlins team, he was one of the best catchers in the league, if not the best. But since going to Philadelphia, it's been up and down so far for him in Philadelphia. So the last few games here for Realmuto, July 25th versus the O's, 1 for 4. July 26th versus the O's, 1 for 4, 2 RBIs. July 28th at the Pirates, 1 for 4. July 29th at the Pirates, 0 for 3 with 2 runs. The 30th, he sat out. July 31st at the Marlins, 1 for 3. And the last 2 ball games now with the hand injury, he sat out as Realmuto. So hopefully he comes back sooner than later. Maybe this little bit of rest could get him going as well, is JT Realmuto. But right now, while he hasn't done much over the last month of the season, he's another buy low candidate. And this Philly team, we saw it last season. They got hot at the right time. And Realmuto and Schwarber are definitely capable on going on a tear for the remainder of the season at any point. So right now, while their value's way down there, this is a perfect time to buy them low this week. The next hitter is Teoscar Hernandez, the out of Mariners. So Teoscar Hernandez, he was almost traded at the MLB trade deadline with this Mariners team selling off some pieces, but it didn't come to fruition. And Hernandez, yes, he's a free agent after the season. And on the year, 16 home runs, 59 RBIs, 45 runs scored, 5 stolen bases, a 238 average, and a 288 on base. But the last 2 weeks here, we haven't seen much at all from Hernandez. 1 home run, 9 RBIs, 2 runs scored, a 216 average, and a 226 on base. Hernandez, right now it's a contract year, and I think in the next 2 months, the remainder of the season, he's going to get things going and try to get his value up, that he could get a good contract. And I know Seattle's most likely out of it, but like I said, Toscar Hernandez, he's a guy that could get things going, I believe, for this Seattle Mariners team and for fantasy owners. So right now the list, few games here for Hernandez: July 28th at the Diamondbacks, 0 for 4 run. July 29th at the Diamondbacks, 2 for 4. July 30th at the D-backs, 1 for 5. July 31st versus Boston, 1 for 4 rib. August 1st sat out, and August 2nd versus Boston, 1 for 4 in that one. So right now, he's still got 16 home runs on the season. He's got an outside shot to hit 30 on the year as Hernandez. And like I said, he's been a streak hitter throughout his career and a typical power hitter as well. Just like mentioned Schwarber early in the video, some months he can hit 10 home runs, and then some months you're not going to get much out of him at all. But right now, while he's slumping and he just hasn't done much, and he's trying to get a big contract in the offseason, I think Hernandez could really turn it up in the next couple months here before the season ends and pay big dividends for fantasy owners, but you don't got to trade much to get him. In the 5th and final hitter I look to buy and trade for here is Matt Chapman of the Toronto Blue Jays. So Chapman, the first month of the season, he was on a tear, and he's a free agent as well after the year. So on the season, 14 home runs, 44 RBIs, 58 runs scored, 3 stolen bases, a 258 average, and a 353 on base. But the last month of the season, we really haven't seen much here from Chapman. 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, 16 runs scored, a 244 average, and a 398 on base. So the only positive here, he's still getting on base. A whole lot of times walking is Matt Chapman, or fielder's choices, or whatever the case may be, but the power's been down the last few months. The batting average has been down as well, but he's another player playing for a contract, and he's in a good lineup, batting 5th for a solid Toronto Blue Jay offense. So right now I think he could turn things around, and he's a guy that he could get hot at any time as well. July 29th versus the Angels, 0 for 2. July 30th versus the Angels, 1 for 4. July 31st versus Baltimore, 0 for 3. August 1st versus Baltimore, 1 for 4 run. And August 2nd versus Baltimore, 0 for 3 with an RBI. So right now we haven't seen much out of Chapman, like I said. But like I said, with all those good hitters in the lineup and with his contract up after the season, I think he could get things going. And he's another streak hitter, so that's a few hitters I look to buy and trade for in Ready Week 17 of the fantasy baseball season.